everyone, and welcome to In the Cantina with OHCATRINA, a Star Wars show where I delve into the hyperspace hyperfocuses of the creative fans that make our community so special. If there's anything that Star Wars is known for, it's out of this world makeup and creatures and humanoids alike. In recent years, fans have been able to take their style to new heights with creative makeup looks and collaborations between Star Wars and major makeup brands. As a former Sephora beauty advisor myself, I couldn't be more excited about how makeup and artistry has expanded our fandom from its humble beginnings. So today, I've invited one of the most creative makeup artists and Star Wars fans I know, Crystal Kyber. Hi, Crystal.
Hi, that was such an introduction. Thank you so much.
I love your videos. I'm so glad you're here because I love the looks you've created and they're so cool and like creative and colorful. So thank you for being on the show. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I've honestly been looking forward to this chat since you approached me about this. I'm like, yes, makeup and Star Wars and someone that actually gets it and is actually excited to talk about it with me. So
Yeah,
very
thank you
excited.
so much. Yeah. So let's go ahead and hop right into your Star Wars story. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into Star Wars and how that translates to what you do here on YouTube?
Yeah, I would love to. So I grew up with Star Wars. My dad is a huge sci-fi nerd. He's more of a Trekkie, but he loves Star Wars as well. So
Mhm.
I grew up with A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. It was like one of those movies that I always had on repeat as a kid. You know how kids will just like put a movie on over and over and over? That was me
Mhm.
in Return of the Jedi.
Nice. Nice.
Um, and then, I grew up in the 90s, so I grew up with the prequels. They've always had a very special place in my heart. And I don't think I realized like how much hate the prequels got until I became an adult and people are like,
Mhm.
they sucked. And I'm like, what do you mean they sucked?
Mhm.
What do you mean? you know?
Yeah.
And it was just kind of one of those things I kept to myself. And then the sequels happened, and it was really cool to be a Star Wars fan again. And then I think it wasn't until The Mandalorian came out is when I really got like really invested in the community. I found
Mhm.
out that there's even a community and there's people that want to talk about it with us. Um,
Mhm.
and how that relates into YouTube was after watching The Mandalorian season 1, I had took like a dive into the Clone Wars and Rebels,
Nice.
and I think I was like talking about it to everyone that would listen to me. And I remember I was talking to my dad, and I think he was just over it. Like my dad, who's like the one that introduced me to this, the one that is super into Star Wars, like he was just looking at me like, again, we're talking about Star Wars again. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start doing it on YouTube. Before this, I actually had been doing content creation, like beauty makeup and vlogging.
Mhm.
So I was like, I'm just gonna talk about Star Wars instead. And
Yeah.
here we are.
Yay. You know what? Your story is so similar to mine. My dad is a Trekkie too, and I found out about Star Wars because he took me to a Trek convention. So it's just like, good on you, dads.
Right, right.
That is so awesome. I'm so excited to have you here and like talk about what your inspiration is. What and going into that, what was your inspiration to make to mix makeup artistry and Star Wars?
So I'm a professional makeup artist. I work in the commercial world here in Los Angeles. I mostly work in print and beauty. And like I said, I was already making beauty content before I switched over to Star Wars. And I really was like, okay, there's so much Star Wars content out there. How do I differentiate myself? And I really wanted to be there for the girlies, the girls and the gays and the theys, And I'm like, how
Mhm.
do I target the audience, but have it still be uh, Star Wars forward. And so I think, makeup was kind of like made the most sense for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got so many cool and creative videos on your channel, which I love. You did like recently, you did a Jackie look that like I thought was so cool and so creative, and I love the gems that you used to replace her spots. It's so brilliant the way that you and so many other Star Wars fans have been able to like change and modernize like how these looks are. So along with your Jackie look, you've sent a couple other looks. So would you mind going through them with me and talking about inspiration and giving a brief rundown?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. We'll go ahead and kick it off with Jackie, which I think was one of your most recent ones.
It is. And it's kind of like what you said about like modernizing these looks. Like, how do
Hmm.
you alien look and make it wearable? You know,
Yeah.
I also come from more of like an editorial background, and so
Hmm.
this is definitely not a wearable look.
Yeah.
I think it's like an interesting translation into like
Mhm.
a modern or editorial kind of look.
Yeah, you've got this like nice glossy like orange yellow blush that like feels like I need to watch the video again, but it has like those two tones in it that sort of mirror the eye makeup, and I think that move is like so brilliant. So out of the looks that you sent me, which one do you want to look at next?
Let's do. I think I sent you two Ahsoka looks. Let's
Mm-hmm.
do both of them, maybe one of them.
Yeah.
So Ahsoka has been one of my favorite characters, as she's many of our favorites, but her color palette is just so interesting, and there's so much room to like explore that and
Mm-hmm.
translate it into a look that isn't just like doing her Leku design.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we take that but make it not that? And
Mm-hmm.
this one was a really fun one to do.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. Like the specific like lining choices you made here were so cool, and I like that that's the Leku themselves are like the inspiration, because you kind of like you see her pattern elsewhere in places that I think are super clever in the series. Like it's Anakin Starfighter kind of has that same pattern on it, which I think is really neat. And yeah, I love it.
Oh yeah, this
It's
one.
so
I
cute.
Thank you. I've done so many Ahsoka looks. Like I'm like, which one did I send you? Again, this one it was just more of like her color palette,
Hmm.
and then I tried to emulate her Leku with like the bubble braids. This one was actually really
Cute.
fun. Sometimes I
Yeah.
don't know like how it's gonna turn out from my head to like my face,
Mhm.
so I'm glad this one looks good.
No, it's fantastic. And then you've got this beautiful Boba Fett look, which I love. Like this choice to put the red underneath the eyebrows.
Thank you.
So
Yeah,
cute.
I think I did this one right after Boba Fett was on Mandalorian season 2. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, he needs a look.
Yes. That is
Yeah,
so
I love
cool.
this look too, honestly. I'm like, wow, I'll never slay that hard ever again.
I think it's just such a cool choice too, because Mando helmets with the way they're shaped too, it's like such a direct reference to like his helmet too. So I
Yeah,
thought that
like
was really neat.
the
Yeah.
visor, without it being
Hmm.
too like on the nose.
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, I think I've got this C3PO look, which is from the ColourPop line, and I love that because they're one of my favorites with when it comes to Star Wars collections. So you made the choice of like putting those little gems in the middle there, which I think is super cute. Can you go over this look a little bit, and then we'll hop into brands and collabs and all that?
Yeah, so for this look, I really was trying to do like a glam C3PO, or as I like to say, if C3PO slayed. But to be honest, like C3PO does slay, like
All the time.
all the
He's always
time.
glowing. I love that. And it does like reflect that really cool like chrome metallic of his like I guess his armor, his build, you could call it. Yeah, and his plating.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like blocked out my eyebrows to give more of like an uncanny feel to the look. And like you had pointed
Hmm.
out, the rhinestones, I feel like gives the same feeling as like his shininess.
Yeah, so cute. And I love like the blush placement that you use, like specifically with so many of these looks. There are some really subtle changes between all of them, but like I love the choices that you make with blush. It's
Oh my
so cute.
gosh. Oh my God. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel so seen right now.
They like trained me really well at Sephora because I
Yeah.
used to be, and I still am like a down and dirty tomboy, but now I'm like, oh, I see where she put like that choice to highlight her cheekbone. It's so cool. And like I think my obsession with makeup is because it is just another form of art, except you get to do it on yourself or other people, and
Mm-hmm.
that's really fun. So
Yeah. It's so funny that you said that you're like a tomboy, because I feel like I've been a tomboy, like trying to be girly.
yeah. Exactly. I feel like both of us meet the bar,
Right.
like we're
Right.
having fun, and that's really what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, the next thing we're going to cover is our top 3 makeup looks in Star Wars, and I think we'll just like bounce between your choices and mine, and we'll go through like 6 of them, because Star Wars has this history of like not just incredible creature makeup, but incredible just makeup looks, sometimes on creatures,
Right.
which I think is so cool. So first, let's go with your first tried and true classic, the Padme Amidala, the Queen Amidala. I'm sorry, from like the Phantom Menace. Our very first look at her. Let's have your thoughts on this one.
This look is so iconic. I remember being, I think I was 8 years old when this movie came out, and just
Mhm.
so like enamored with this look. I mean, everything about it, the white face, the red dots, the wig, the costume, like it is
Mhm.
so memorable, and it is so quintessential prequels.
Yes.
I just love it. They did an amazing job with this look.
I love it. And I think like these brows defined how brows should be for me for like the rest of my life. It took me a long time to do brows that weren't like this, because it just looked so perfect on her, and I
Yeah.
love it. It's this sharp, I don't know, this sharp like inclination that she is smarter and wiser than her years just by the way her makeup looks. So
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then following that up, my pick was actually Padme's smoky eye here. I love this look specifically because like this is the joke is that like this is the look that she chose to reject Anakin with. Um,
As she should.
and I don't blame
Period.
period. Like I don't blame her. I've done this before where I'm like, I'm gonna reject this guy and I'm gonna look so hot to make it really hurtful for him. This eye, I think, is like it's so subtle that you barely really notice it, but it's still there, and it gives her this like super sultry look while still being like beautiful and classy. And I just love that, like, when it comes to the way they styled Natalie Portman in these movies, they really played with her, or played upon her features.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I love that it is like this natural sultry look, and it
Hmm.
goes with her whole vibe and her whole everything that's going on in this scene without it being
Hmm.
overbearing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I feel like if there was like a definitive liner or anything like that, it really would have made it too much. But this is
Mhm.
just enough to say, like, you're about to lose this, and I'm totally going to reject you and fail, but
Yeah.
I'm still going to look super hot doing it. So,
Right. Right. And it's so timeless. I think if they were to put like a winged eyeliner on her, it would be dated. Like this really could
mhm.
exist in like a galaxy far, far away.
Yes, absolutely. So your next pick, and this is one of like my favorites of all time because this is one of the original glam looks. So let's talk a little bit about this look because it's immaculate.
Right. I think it kind of goes hand in hand with what I was saying about Padme's original Phantom Menace look. Like this look is so striking. Like you can see
Hmm.
her from across the room. I also think the color palette that they chose for her is like this very 80s, but
Yeah.
it still works. Like it's a little bit punk, it's a little bit glam, and it's
Hmm.
still like if you were to tell me this alien put on this makeup for Jabba the Hutt, like I'd believe you.
Hmm. Absolutely. When you've got to go perform for a criminal warlord, you do it up.
You
You
put your
want to
red
look your
lipstick.
best. Oh, the red, the lip, honestly, like this is that I think it's so striking with like her hair and everything, and just like you said, it's so perfectly 80s, and I feel like it was a one of those like very early definitive looks in the 80s that like led to, I could see Madonna wearing this
Oh,
kind of outlook. And
yeah.
speaking of definitive lips in Return of the Jedi, I want to go to our girl, Cy Snoodles, who like even even in like the puppet version of this, she has this like super bold, like creamy, lush red lip and these incredible lashes.
Mm.
And I just it makes me so happy because I think this was the first moment in my life where I was like, wow, everyone can be beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a 10 in her species for sure.
Absolutely. A total catch.
Right. Like performing for Jabba the Hutt, like
Mhm. You don't get any better than that. I mean, like this is a residency look, and I
yes.
I love it. Like, if you're gonna watch somebody die, you might as well look good, right? Like,
Right, right, right.
it's
And you
so
put in
perfect.
effort when you're performing for a crime syndicate. You know what I mean? Like you go out there
Yeah,
with your lashes on, you go out there with your singing voice, and you do what you got to do. And I
yeah.
love that for her.
You never know what kind of rich like space tech investors could be out there waiting for you to like open a stadium for them. And so I think that in both cases with Bristol and with Sice Noodles, like these looks were just like they're timeless, they're iconic, and they're attention grabbing. I also love your final pick,
I
so
knew
we'll go.
you did.
Of course, our darling Asajj Ventress, her eyeliner. Like I think a lot of people think that her tattoos are makeup, but they are definitive tattoos. But her eyeliner and her lashes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I picked Asajj because I know she does have like the face tattoos and she does have like a smoky eye, which could be like more of a design choice in the Clone
Hmm.
Wars design style. But in my head, Asajj puts on makeup. Asajj
Yes.
is that girl.
Hmm.
Like
Absolutely.
she's very sensual, she's very feminine, and I think that she looks the way that she wants to look, you know?
Hmm.
So and I really respect that about her. She puts on her eyeliner, she does her lips, and she puts on her dress.
Exactly. I love her because like there are flashback episodes and like this first off, she came out of the womb like ready to go, like perfect eyelashes as a baby. And then like as a teenager, she has this like very specific like emo look to her with like the hair brushed over, the way she does her eyeliner is a lot thicker, and then you get to like this look where, she even like down to the blush and the lip color, like these are like definitive choices that she has made because she knows she needs to go a kill people and b seduce people, not in that order. So I I love everything about this look. And she just like continues to have like these iconic looks throughout the series, and I could go on for like an hour about the subtle changes you see her in her makeup throughout her arc too.
I didn't watch The Bad Batch, but I did see like a screen grab of her from The Bad Batch, and I noticed that she had like a more light
Mm-hmm.
eyeliner on, and I thought that was very interesting when you're talking about like her story arc and
Mm-hmm.
how like we can use makeup to kind of communicate that.
Yeah, absolutely. The same as like a wardrobe or even like colors, like there's that color theory in Bridgerton where specific characters wear specific colors at specific times based on what they're going through. And I think that is something that even the animators think about in like shows like The Bad Batch and Clone Wars. So absolutely. My final pick, Garza Flip, unfortunately her death look in in
Too
the
soon.
it's rip, man, because this whole look was if I had to die and become a ghost, like this is I mean, the choice that she made to die in, not that she knew she was going to die, but like, this is her ghost outfit for the rest of time. Maybe, who knows? Maybe she got out. I don't know. You never know unless you see a body in Star Wars. But this eye look specifically, I think is so cool and such a neat little choice for her character. I've always been a big fan of like the way her brows are arched, and also this like outside liner look that sort of came into popularity around like I want to say 2018, 2019. I just love the way it looks on her. So cool.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. While I will say the eyeliner does feel a little bit modern for Star
Hmm.
Wars, I think that it works in this case
Hmm.
because maybe we'll feel the same way that we feel about this eyeliner like we do for like that 80s look.
Right.
Maybe it'll be like it's simple enough, but it still communicates the time in Star Wars.
Hmm.
But yeah, she's so stunning. And this makeup is so great. I love being able to see like a glam alien.
Yes, me too. Like she really I mean that was the whole point of her character was she's a leader.
Wow.
She is the den mother of all these people. She's not just running a business. She's making sure that her people get free of the enslavement and labor and awful circumstances that they've been stereotyped and put into. And I love that about her. She's so freaking cool. She is, as the kids say, mother.
Right. So put
Yeah,
together, like
absolutely.
she doesn't go outside without a perfect wing on, and I love that.
I love it. And then you mentioned in the notes that you think Sabine, if she wore makeup, would absolutely slay, and I fully agree with you. I would love to know what you think Sabine would look like if she went like glam.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting that the animators or even in Ahsoka, they didn't put makeup on her. I'm like, this girl would absolutely wear makeup. Like maybe not glam, but I could see her like putting like a blue and a green on two different
Yeah.
eyes. Or I could see her putting like as much color as she possibly could, or like a war paint even. Like she's an
Hmm.
artist, she's a graffiti artist. Like I could really see her translating it from her hair down to her makeup. So
Yeah.
what we could have had with her.
Hopefully one day, maybe when she comes back from the other galaxy, or like maybe she finds really good pigment in this galaxy or something, and and Shin like gives her a little advice on like the wild smoky eye deal, like, who knows.
Yeah.
I would love that. Like, I just put Sabine in a like gala situation where
Ooh.
she has to do really good makeup to like fit in, and then like she goes and like creates this incredible glam look. Like, that's my answer to everything, because I'm a tabletop role player. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, put her in a fancy gala. Like,
What do you think her makeup would look like in a gala setting?
ooh, I feel like she would. I just feel like she leans into that red a lot, like that maroon kind of deal. So I feel like that would be kind of where she goes, is like we would see something in like the red purple tone, kind of calling back to her armor, but with like some glow on it, maybe on the top. Yeah.
Ooh, I love
Hmm.
that idea. Yeah, I think like maybe Sabine puts it on for like a mission and then she finds out that she's really good at it. And then she's like,
Hmm.
oh, well.
Another way to do art.
Right.
What?
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
absolutely. I feel like that's the thing, is that she's not been in a situation where like somebody regularly does makeup around her,
Right.
like Hera has like a great lip and blush here and there, but like she's a pilot. She doesn't have, and a
Right.
mother now, and a rebel leader. She doesn't have a lot of time. Let's cut her some slack there.
Right.
So Sabine hasn't really been around someone who's like, yeah, let's like sit in front of the mirror and like do this
Yeah.
thing, right? And show you what
Right.
you can do with this. So yeah, and then like I feel like a cute like coral lip for Sabine.
Ooh,
Yeah, like it's just that
yeah.
hint of like pink. I love it. So yeah. So throughout Star Wars history, we have been lightly and then heavily blessed with a lot of makeup collections, and certainly more so now than ever. But I wanted to call back to two staples, I think, that really built the empire that we have now, pun intended, the growing empire for Star Wars makeup. And the first happened 25 years ago when I was a wee babe and I was too young to be playing with makeup. This was the Yves Saint Laurent and Star Wars collaboration for the Phantom Menace, or for, I don't know if it was I think it's the Phantom Menace. Yeah. So this was 25 years ago. They released a full-fledged makeup collection based on Padme Amidala and all of her iconic looks. And the first time I even found out about this was like, I think a month or so ago, when I was very lucky to be invited to Lucasfilm and do like a little tour of the offices up here in the Bay Area. And they had this on display for TPM 25. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, there was an Yves Saint Laurent
Right.
collaboration.
Like talk about out of left field.
Right, like this makeup brand, for anybody not in the know, is pretty high level, like
Right.
it's up there in price. Like, people regard it as one of like the staples of makeup. And so to know that like that was the first real Star Wars makeup collaboration is
Right.
just like mind
Right.
blowing.
Yeah. Like this is luxury makeup. This is not like you
Yeah.
can go down to Sephora. Like you probably could now, but back then this was like
Yeah.
mm,
I want to talk to the like 90s nerd girls and gays and names who like were using this makeup. Who, like,
right.
if you really look at it, like this is one of the first real services to like female Star Wars fans
Right.
in product, and like that recognition where it's like, yeah, we see you're
Mm.
here too. Yeah.
I've never seen that before until you brought it up today. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, oh, wow." Like,
Yeah.
imagine if we got that today. Like, I think I would still be kind of thrown off, but I would have to get it.
We are very lucky to have lots and lots of Star Wars collaborations these days. And I want to recognize the 2015 CoverGirl collab as
Oh,
like
yes.
the real starting line to like where Star Wars makeup is today. So this was Jesus Christ, 9 years ago. CoverGirl and Star Wars did a full-fledged makeup line. They had these like 5 different or 6 different lip colors. They had different mascaras where on the back it said all these different like Star Warsy sayings, and then there were also like these nail colors that they did for the line as well. So, were you privy to that when it first dropped?
Yeah, so I actually worked for a brand called Glam Squad. It was like one of my first jobs here in LA, and
Yeah.
they did a collaboration with the CoverGirl Star Wars thing. And so when we got booked, they gave us like bags of like the collection, and when a client would book us, we would recreate one of the looks.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah,
that is so cool. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh man. This
so
and this
random.
Yeah, that is freaking cool that like one of your earliest jobs you got to like imbue it with your nerdiness, I
Yeah.
think.
Like, so random. I would
Yeah.
say, like, a lot of the girls that did pick looks did more of, like, the subtle looks, but it
Mm.
was still fun. It was cool getting to, like, be a part of that. I totally forgot about that until you brought it up today as well. I'm like, "Oh, yeah. That was, like, 10 years ago now."
Yeah, yeah, it was a while ago, and I remember being like super excited for it, not just because it was like a makeup collection, but because Janelle Monáe was like their cover person for this, and they did
Yeah.
a really cool Resistance pilot look on them, and
So cool.
it was such a neat collection, and like I will confess I still have pieces from it that just kind of like sit in my makeup box because I don't want to throw them away.
Yeah.
They're collectibles now, you know. So
Yeah.
I still have those, but we also since then have been opened up to like this massive world. I would say, I don't know. I mean, like it's 4 or 5 collaborations, but like a massive world in comparison of Star Wars makeup collabs. I know that you brought along your Pat McGrath palettes.
I
Um,
did.
I I love that palette specifically, like that cover choice. I think it's so cool the packaging that they did for this because it's so different and like and those colors. Oh, they're so
So
pretty.
pretty. This is actually their second collaboration with Star Wars. I
Mhm.
missed the first one and I really, really regret it. I'm like, I need to be on Amazon or eBay looking for
Mhm.
it. I also have the Sith Seduction one, which I don't really like these colors, but I had to have it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
totally. I just
Um,
oh man. They went
and
above
then
and beyond with the packaging.
they did. I know. I keep my mascara in the packaging still. And they did like a blue one. They did some other colors and I'm like, why didn't I just buy the whole I mean, it was really expensive. There's a
Mm,
reason I didn't buy the whole collection, but now I'm like, why didn't I buy the whole collection?
honestly,
This
same.
this is definitely like luxury makeup as well.
Yeah, Pat McGrath. And I mean, like that's one of those brands that like has these pigments that like you really only need a little to get all the color you
Right.
get out of it. So they did that collab. They did the Rise of Skywalker, which I thought was a really great one.
So pretty.
So cute, so understated, so pretty. I love it. Sorry, you were gonna say
Oh
something.
yeah. I was just gonna pull it out because like hi.
Jesus.
Like
Yeah.
you don't need like anything. Like
I love it. If you're gonna pay top dollar for makeup, like I want color that lasts for a really long time and that I can go back and use over and over and over again. So I thought that collab was so cool. And then of course we have what I would say is like maybe not the most like popular, but the most commonly known is the Color Pop Star Wars collaborations that have happened over the years, and I have a couple other ones too. I know you did a really neat look with the Grogu and Mandalorian collaboration here. So would you like to talk a little bit about the Color Pop collection and like how you feel about it? It's a really broad one, honestly.
Yeah. Honestly, the ColourPop collection is so random.
I know.
Oh, but I really love it. I think the Grogu palette was the one that started it, like the child, because I think this is called the Child. Like I don't even,
Hmm.
yeah, it's called the Child. It's not even Grogu yet. This was really what launched it. I will say, even though they are affordable, they are like you can tell that they're affordable makeup. Like you see, like this one fell out. I think
Hmm.
Mandalorian one, two of them fell out. Yeah.
Oh.
And the color payoff isn't like the best, but it is affordable. And honestly, like the packaging,
Yeah.
so cute. Like the packaging is worth it. Oh my God, so good.
The
Like
lip colors, I love them.
I want all of them.
Me too.
Just for this box too,
I
you know?
have like the classic Star Wars one, which I did not load a picture up of. That one exactly. I'm wearing the reds from
Oh.
that color or from that palette today. So I think I've got
Ooh.
like outer rim and then the glittery red. Yeah. So I've got outer rim there up in the top
Or
like right corner, and then
okay.
the two reds there as well is what I used, and then I used
Ooh.
Rebel Princess for the inside and the glow.
Ooh,
So
pretty. Oh, it looks
yeah.
so good. I love
Yeah, I mean,
it.
like my camera isn't very kind to the look, but I was like, I want this palette. I want something from the ColourPop collection, so I decided to like go with the big classic. And I thought that I think it's a pretty good purchase so far. I like
Yeah.
that outer rim. I'll say, I took a liner brush and used it as a liner, and it's really nice and definitive. So
Okay.
yeah, so I completely agree with you on like some of the ColourPop colors, just they don't pop. But
Right.
that one's a nice bold one, and it makes me sad because I don't want to use it that much because it's so
Right.
pretty looking.
Right. Yeah, and I think something with the ColourPop that I really admire is first of all, their packaging is amazing. I love
Hmm.
like the names of all the eyeshadow. Like you said,
Hmm.
like Rebel, you have Rebel Princess on Outer Rim. Like they did their homework.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
the other thing I would really love for them is I wish that they would have a different color story because like when I
Right.
look at this, it's not giving me Dark Side or Darth Vader. Like I want
Hmm.
like black and white and red and like these are very wearable colors. I get that they're trying to appeal to like a mass audience, but like for Grogu, give me more green. I don't need this
Yes,
color. I have a lot of those
absolutely.
colors.
No, I totally agree with you. I think that that's something that like maybe hopefully, in time in development we'll be able to get something a little more like diverse and stuff. I want to load up I did a Jackie inspired like color pop
Oh.
esque kind of palette
Ooh.
recently. So I want to load that up and show you. I did
Ooh.
yeah, so like it's very much inspired by ColourPop. I wanted to kind of like match their packaging style, but also go for that like Art Deco of the High Republic era. But I wanted to also make sure that I was including colors that weren't just like not just wearable, but also things where a cosplayer could take this and make a Jackie look out of it.
Right,
So
right. Ah,
so
I
those
love
are
that.
thank you. I haven't come up with like names for the colors, but that was sort of like what I wanted to go for there, and it was a lot of fun to design. So like I hope we get more color pop and more Pat McGrath. The last one I just recently found with this one, and I feel like it might be Color Pop UK. I don't know because they already are a UK company. But I found this brand. It's called Mad Beauty, and they only have one palette,
Cute.
right? It's just a little bit more, like
Mhm.
it tells a larger and wider color story, and I think you can only get this like from the
Oh,
UK. Yeah, but it's so cute.
I need
uh
it.
yeah, I need it too. I'm like, how much shipping do I have to pay for this? Like,
Right.
the entire rest of their line is primarily skincare stuff, but it's so cute,
Cute.
and I need it
Gosh.
here in the US.
Yes. Oh my God, it is so cute. I'm like a big Grogu girly. Like I
Oh.
need Grogu everything. Like I'm that,
Hmm.
how people always complain about people that like Grogu stuff? I'm that person. They're
Oh,
complaining about me.
those are the same people who are like, "Oh, girls don't buy Star Wars stuff." It's like, yeah, so why is there so much of this?
Right. Why is there makeup?
Exactly. Even people I know who don't like Star Wars are like, yeah, I'm about that baby Yoda right there. So yeah,
Right, right.
it's you can't resist him. He's so
Yeah,
cute.
so
Like
cute. I
I
would
love
love to see you do something that you did for Jackie for Asajj. I'd
it.
love to see where
Ooh.
your mind goes with that.
Okay, I will. It's done. I
Let
will
me
do it.
let me just put
That
more assignments on your plate.
took no convincing whatsoever, dude. Like I honestly I had so I'm having so much fun like designing these palettes. I did one, let me pull it up. I did one recently for Star Trek. And
Ooh.
I had a lot of fun with it because they have the oh come on, open up. Okay. So they have these it started with like they have these screens in the next generation specifically. They're called the LPAR screens. I'm sure I don't need to lecture you about them. It was inspired to do like a makeup palette based on the L-Cars design, which was created by Michael Kuda. And this is another one
Wow.
where I was like, this would be so cool. It's already like made for it. So I took like 4 L-Cars screens and I was like, let's just sample all of the colors directly from them and then throw some sparkles on the ones that I think would do well as like highlights and stuff. So
Wow.
I I started with that and then it like somehow careened
Oh
into
my god.
into
Oh
this. And now I have like a new hobby and it's designing makeup palettes that I want to see.
wow. Oh my brain is just like I'm going right now. Oh my gosh. Like, okay,
Your
I'll put
approval, yeah, your approval means everything,
let me
honestly.
pre-order. Like,
Thank you. Thank you. I will pitch it around. Hopefully, like I can get like Besame or Pat McGrath to like
right.
buy
Oh
it or
my
something,
god. Yes. I
Yes,
support you.
absolutely. Yes, thank you. I will totally have that Asajj one done. I promise. I'm gonna make it just because you asked for it. So
Yes,
thank you.
yes. I
Yes,
need to see it from the Saj representative themselves.
yes. I will get on it. It's my new homework assignment. I'm here for it. So speaking of collaborations, I asked a little bit in our notes what you would like to see from future Star Wars makeup collaborations, and you wrote down a few interesting answers. Can you elaborate a little bit on them?
Yeah, so my first one was the Isamaya brand. It's like a fairly new brand. It's from the makeup artist Isamaya French. She's a UK amazing makeup artist. Oh my God, I love her work. But she
Hmm.
recently came out with her own makeup line. It is insane. Like, I think when I think about the future of makeup in terms of like, style or like where the trends are going, like she's on it, she's ahead of it,
Hmm.
she's pioneering it. So I would really love to see a Star Wars collaboration with a brand that is really cool. Like
Hmm.
CoverGirl's cool because it's a very well-known brand. It comes with like
Hmm.
the notoriety of that. But to be to collaborate or to be paired with like such a cool young brand that is like very serious, I think would
Hmm.
just like make it a little bit more of like a like deep cut or more cool. Like it's very
Yeah,
cool. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Like elevate it a little bit.
Elevate it. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is
Like we
so
have the
cool.
cute stuff already, you
Yeah,
know? Like,
now we can get back in the serious stuff.
yeah, like let's take it a little bit, let's give it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then my second answer was more from Pat McGrath because her eyeshadows are just amazing, high quality, and again, a really cool brand from another makeup artist. So
Hmm.
yeah. What about
Yeah.
you? Who would you like to see a collab from?
I am a huge fan of Besame Cosmetics. I fell in love with them because they did an Agent Carter line like
Hmm.
way back when, like I think in 2012, 2013 or something. And the makeups were so perfectly pigmented. Like they really took into consideration like the fact that it was in the 1940s. There is a signature look for that time, and they took that look and were like, how do we bring it to modern, makeup artists in a way that they can use it but still look very classic. So
Hmm.
I would love to see, like specifically from Besame, I would love to see a Kira makeup line.
Ooh.
And I know she's like a minor character, but like her makeup is it just barely didn't make the cut for my favorites. But it's so perfect and classic and like it frames Amelia Clark's face so perfectly. And I think like if there's a femme fatale I think of in Star Wars, like Kira's in the top 10. So I think like a Kira line, or like something like an underworld boss kind of line, I think would be really sick. Like something, you know, if they were smart, they would have done one for Outlaws, basically, is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. Right. Maybe she won't be such a minor character after all.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, she's been in comics on the screen. She's gonna be in a game. Like, I love her. And like, what's Amelia? I'm sure she's doing plenty, but like, what's Amelia Clark doing that she's gonna say no to more Star Wars? You
Right.
know,
Right. Something with her
fingers crossed.
eyebrows. That's what she's doing.
Yeah, yeah, and then of course, like any other Podmate collections, like I think I'm like most of the girlies in the Star Wars community, where I'm like clamoring for Podmate stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anything about her, like I would be so down for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and I hope, like, you know, renew the Acolyte for season 2 and give
Yes.
us a makeup line, because the Witches of Brendock alone, I think, had the coolest color palette, like in their clothing and the way they did their magic. Like, there was so much potential for like color usage with them. And so I hope maybe, like, you know, if they do renew the Acolyte and they know that they have this like deeply female core audience, that they think of like, maybe we do dual palettes for May and Osha, or
Ooh.
yeah, or like, you
Ooh.
know, lip colors based on like the stranger's lightsaber and all of the blood he spattered, and
Ooh. I love that. I
like a
love that.
yeah. So I'm hoping, like, I mean, this is, we're in this really great era of Star Wars, and we have been for, I want to say, like a decade, where like we as women and non-binary fans are like clamoring for stuff, you know, and we want things that cater to us. And I hope that, you know, especially with makeup, because it really is, you know, it's women are considered the demographic for makeup, but makeup is for everyone.
Right.
And especially in like the Star Wars fandom, I think the more we get, the more fun everyone's gonna have. So
Yeah, it's such a great way to like express our fandom and to like take
hmm
something that we already love and interpret it as our own. And I love that we're getting like women in Star Wars that wear makeup. You know, I love that that is part of canon and that is part of like their characters. Like you were saying, Padme with her smoky eye, like she thought about that, and I love that. But yeah, I'm hoping that we get more of it. It seems to be like really catching on, I think.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Crystal. It has been a delight to have you on the show. And yeah, just let's go ahead and tell the good people where we can find you on the internet.
Right. So you can find me on YouTube. I make YouTube videos talking about Star Wars and doing my makeup at the same time. Just look me up, Crystal Kyber. I also exist on Twitter and Instagram under Crystal Kyber. And then I also have a clothing line called Bad Feeling. I make fandom inspired merch. Right now we're doing Hut Slayer because Princess Leia is that girl.
Yes.
So you can find that at getbadfeeling.com. And I'll see you there. Thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun. Oh my God.
I'm so glad you came. Yeah, thank you so much for being on the show. I'll make sure to include all those links in the description below so you guys can go get yourself some Bad Feeling clothing. And yeah, and thank you for being on. This was so much fun.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all for tuning into In the Cantina with OHCATRINA. Till next time, fly casual and always make sure to tip your bartender. Goodbye.